I never saw the sun shining so bright. Never had things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, by blue days. All of them are gone. Nothing but the blue skies from dawn.
Yes, my shit right here. Say what this my shit right here. Welcome back to another episode of Road to William, y'all. We're getting right into it today. Is Della Reese Day. Let me tell you a little bit about Della. So I know Della Reese through my childhood watching movies, black cinema specific. But to be honest, my very first time I seen Della Reese was on Touched by an Angel. And then after that, I seen her in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. One of the greats, of course. That's what I know her from. Y'all let me know in the comments where y'all know her from. But I started doing some research on Della Reese, and I wanted to go over, the interviews are gonna, of course, go in a little deeper, more in depth with it. But what I found was that, she was born July 6, 1931, in Black Bottom, Detroit. So then I'm like, I've never heard of that place before. It's specifically Black Bottom, Detroit. So I'm like, okay, so I look up Black Bottom, and Black Bottom was a predominantly black neighborhood in Detroit, Michigan, demolished for redevelopment in the late 1950s to early 1960s and replaced with Lafayette Park residential district and a freeway. And then it was like, what were housing conditions like in Black Bottom? Many residents found themselves huddled together in a single room with no cooking facilities, such as an oven or kitchen sink, and also without any indoor plumbing. So people had to use the restroom outside in Detroit, Black Bottom. Let me know if y'all heard of Black Bottom. I've been to Detroit once. Man, Gary, plenty of times. Detroit, that's different. That's all I will say about that. It's different. But it says, she was a known American jazz and gospel singer, actress, and ordained minister. And I want to get into that. I want to know why she became that. So we're going to dive in more. We know her from Harlem Nights. And I found a clip from Harlem Nights, and if y'all are Young Dolph fans, Young Dolph did he did like a mimic of it in his video. So I'm gonna pop that up first. I wanted to show, for people who don't listen to Young Dolph or don't know what I'm talking about or have never seen the video, I Think I Can Fly featuring Snoop Dogg. He did a scene in his music video from Harlem Nights, and I'm like, that's a good side-by-sider. Let's get If y'all know who Miss Pat is, let me know in the comments. I know my cousin Ashley loves Miss Pat. She put me on to Miss Pat low key. She was like, go watch her show, but I didn't watch it all the way through. I actually watched her first through not the Breakfast Club, that was second, but 85 South Show. And then I went to the Breakfast Club, then I went and watched a little bit. I'm like, no, she funny as hell.
We might rob a nigga, but we don't shoot it. No, some bullshit, man. We on some bullshit. We on some bullshit.
Anyways, y'all go watch that full video. But now we're gonna watch the original.
Oh, come on, man. Don't you want to talk about it? I ain't got nothing to say. You done insulted me, and I got to kick your ass right now. And afterwards, I don't want no hard feelings either. It was a simple flight. See, we worked the 5 days. We didn't work weekends. So at the end of Friday night, I could come home. I've been pastoring a church for 25 years. And so at the end of Friday night, I could come home so that I could have the weekend to take care of the business of the church and to do the sermons and whatever else needed to be done on Sunday. and then either Sunday evening or first thing Monday.
What was the community reaction to in Salt Lake of you shooting?
They loved us. They loved us. I had a lot of people tell me before I went there, be careful, because the Mormons have a thing for Black people and they'll do this. And nobody ever said anything out the way to me. Nobody ever approached me about changing my faith. No, none of that. They treated, man, they have a work ethic that's just marvelous. Things happened, and this is the truth. I would go shopping when everything was gone. When there was nothing left, that's when I would go shopping. And so I would have 2 or 3 of those baskets full of stuff because I wasn't going again till everything was gone. Because I worked from 6 in the morning to sometime 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'd have these baskets full, and the young packagers would help me take the baskets out. And I would offer them a tip. And they say, no, this is my job. And I said, it wasn't your job to put all these things in the car. This is for you. And we would have the great argument about I shouldn't give him a tip. And I got a trunk full of stuff that he's brought out. You couldn't get that here and any place else I know of. And I wouldn't talk to him anymore. When they put in the last piece, I put the money in the pocket, closed the trunk, and got in the car. That's how I was able to. And they'd be standing there when I would leave, going, "But like you don't understand, this is my job." I think that just impressed me so much. And I wanted people to know you don't have to die because your brain explodes. You have in you everything you need to heal yourself from whatever it is that's bothering you. And when I got up, I had so many experiences there. I've always been a Christian. My mother's house required you to be a Christian. But so many things happened there. Like, let me tell you. Okay, I'm in this 3rd hospital, and I have this doctor who is the most negative person to have ever studied medicine in existence. Okay? So he comes in my room every day and tells me why I have to die. And he has statistics, 4 out of 7 and 6 out of 9 and all of that. And he tells me one day that I'm going to have an arteriogram. I never heard this word before, ever. And then he tells me that what it is they're going to run a tube from my groin to my brain so that they can inject a dye so they can see exactly where this rupture is so that when they open my scalp, they can go directly to the problem. And then he tells me, the only problem is we have to find somebody who knows how to do this. I said, you mean tell me you're going to run something all the way through my body and you don't know the route? I told Franklin, I said, get this out of my room right away. Don't let him come back in. My son is saying, Mama, this is the best in the West. I said, I don't care. I don't want him. Don't let him touch me. Don't let him touch me ever. Get him out of my room. So I don't eat meat. So my husband went across the street to get me some vegetables from an Oriental store, shop, restaurant. And so in this room, alone, I say this prayer. I say, Father, I don't understand the language, so I don't know how to make a decision. You'll have to help me make a decision. And the door opens to my room, and this man comes in operation garb, the green suit and the mask laying down and a little cap and the shoes on. And he says to me, may I come in? And I said, yeah, I thought he was a fan. I said, yes, come on in. He said, I was passing this room and something told me that I should come in because sometimes the patients don't understand the language. And if you don't get me, you'll get the man that taught me everything I know, but he didn't teach me everything he knows. So either way, you're in good hands. And I just wanted to stop by and tell you that. I went. I don't know what happened. I never felt it. He said to me, he says, all we need for you to do is be still. Can you be still? My favorite Bible verse is, be still and know that I am God. I said, you watch me be still. They took me down there. Whatever they did, I don't know. I felt nothing, no pain, no nothing, whatever. So when I got up, I wanted to run and tell everybody everything. Listen what happened to me. This can happen to you too. You see. So I went to school and I studied for 4 years with Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. And then I was going to teach. But then I had these two people in my class. One man had terminal cancer, and he and his wife had been married for like 35 years, and they had always been sweethearts and lovers. But now he was angry with her. And she came to the classes, and so she brought him to the classes, and he came in with, I don't want to hear all of this. This ain't gonna help me at all. They done said I'm gonna die, and I know I'm gonna die. But class after class, the truth, which you can't avoid, got to him. And he began to relax, and they became lovers again. And he began to treat her royally again. And eventually, about 6 months after he came, he died of cancer. And she asked me, would I do the services for him? And so he was a wonderful man. The people were crying and everything. And so I did the service, and the people calmed down. And I have this poem that says, we're standing on this shore looking at the ship leaving, and we're saying goodbye. But on the other shore, there are people saying, oh, look, here the ship comes. It's wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the people just calm down. And the minister got up and said, well, all those pretty words she giving you, but all y'all gonna die sometime. Have you made your peace with God? Because well, you're gonna be laying right here one day. You're gonna be laying right here one day, and this is no time for no pretty words. This is time. And the people now are crying again. And saying, the lady gets so angry that she asked the minister not to come to the cemetery. And she asked me, would I go to the cemetery and say the final? Well, I never buried nobody before. I don't know how to bury nobody. But he's laying there, and she's ready to go out there, and I don't know how to do this. So I go and I read the Bible, and I say the words and all of that. But when I come home, I call Reverend Coleman. I said, you got to tell me what to do, because I got to go back to the cemetery. She said, for what? I said, I buried somebody, and I don't know nothing about burying nobody. I don't know if I said the right things, or I've done the right things, or whatever be the case. And so she told me, I went back and I straightened it up and straightened it out and all of that. But it made me know that I needed to go deeper than to teach. I needed to have a place where I could teach and preach and teach the Bible mostly, and the benefits of the Bible. So I went back to school and got my license as a minister.
While most entertainers spend their lives in the spotlight, Della Reese has turned her spotlight to God.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now you think about it.
She has devoted her life to helping others discover the God within them through her music, her acting, and her ministry.
This is eternal life right here, not some other spring. This is it. And this is not a rehearsal. This is your life.
As a teenager, Della was discovered by the great spiritual singer Mahalia Jackson. Della knew then that it was possibly to spiritually move people through her creative talents. Della went on to perform in nightclubs all over the country. But it wasn't until her performance on The Ed Sullivan Show that really made her a star. She has been a true pioneer in the world of show business by becoming the first Black entertainer to host The Tonight Show, as well as her own talk show. Della has also overcome serious adversities, which have brought her to death's door more than once. Her unwavering faith has time and again brought her back stronger and more committed. Then in 1994, after more than 50 years in show business, Della took on the role of her lifetime in the hit network television show Touched by an Angel. Her spirit and determination have inspired millions of people, and she has proven that she is truly an angel among us. Della, thank you for sitting down with us today. I know God is in this room, but since you do it so well, will you remind us all with a blessing before we begin?
Well, you have just blessed us. You've recognized that God is in the midst of us. And the thing that I think makes people so wary of having a relationship with God, there seems to be so many forms you have to follow. And it's not really necessary. What's necessary is to know that God lives inside you, and you are in contact with him whenever you're consciously aware of him. And since he does live inside of you, you have all that he is, and he is a blessing power. So you just blessed all of them.
Wonderful. Do you think, Della, that there is a difference between prayer and talking to God?
I don't. Every thought is a prayer. I don't think you have to come with flowery for, oh, great Savior, oh, Rose of Sharon, oh, bright and morning star. He's inside of me. He knows I'm going through a crisis right now, and I don't feel Rose of Sharon-ish. I feel I want to talk to God, who's my friend, about what's happening to me. I got this from my mother. She had a constant conversation with God, which taught me that nothing is too small or too large, or there's nothing that he is not aware of. She would say, Father, what are we going to cook for dinner? You know, and she'd listen and she'd say, oh, yeah, that'd be nice. And so I, as a child coming up, I understood a constant relationship with God. And I find it quite favorable.
It sounds to me that your mother taught you and had great faith.
Now, this is going to sound kind of strange. She didn't teach me. She didn't say, now this is this and this is that. She lived it every day. It was a normal mean for her. She and God laughed and talked, and I don't know if I can really explain it to you, but as a child, it didn't make him somewhere away that I had to get in touch with. It didn't make him something I had to do, because he lived in the house with my mama, you know? So there was no thing I had to be or say or do, no form I had to fill out, because there he was. He lived in the house with us. And so my father worked in a steel mill. He poured steel, literally poured steel. And he made $65 a week. And that was everything. That was all the money for everything. And it would not last. It would run out. And she would sit, we had this big, ugly green chair that she would sit in with her legs crossed in a yoga or Indian manner. And she would moan and rock, and she would talk to God, and she would say, I got enough meat to make the lunches. And I have some of those black-eyed peas left from the other day, and I got a couple of tomatoes, and I could make that for dinner. But I don't have any bread. And I really need some bread, and the money is, but you know the money's run out. And there's no bread, and I need some bread. It wasn't that she was begging or asking or anything. It's very feasible to me that he was a constant presence, ever available, always interested in what you needed.
Then answer me this, if you will. Is faith a gift?
All that God is, I am. And one of the things that he has given me is his faith in me to be as wonderful as he created me to be. So that's one of the attributes that I have. I'm made in his image likeness. So if he has faith in me, then faith is one of the faculties that is mine.
Della's faith was seriously tested when she witnessed the darker side of humanity at the death of her very close friend, Red Fox.
I was on Royal Family with Red Fox. Red Fox fell in my arms before he made his transition. And I was so disgusted with the way his wife was treated. The doctor came out in the hospital waiting room and said to Mrs. Fox, your husband has gone on, Mrs. Fox. And the powers that be for the royal family said, well, what are we going to do? Because this script is written for Red and Della. I mean, the woman sitting right here and told her, well, maybe we could get so-and-so, and maybe we could such and such. Nobody has said, Mrs. Fox, you know, I'm livid. It was so disrespectful. I said, I would not ever do situation comedy or any kind of television show because I wouldn't want them to treat Franklin and my daughter Della Jr. that way.
Della's confidence in show business was restored when she was asked to star in a new television pilot about angels. However, the show seemed to have little chance of airing. But with God on her side, Della helped make Touched by an Angel a phenomenal success.
I get a call to come to CBS. They want to talk to me. And I go and they introduce me to Martha Williamson and tell me they're going to do Touched by an Angel. And I'm not going to do any more of this at all. And I tell my husband, who is my manager, please tell them in a nice way, I don't want to do this, to get somebody else. So he says, well, think about it. So I come home and I went in my room, got in my bed and prayed. And I said, Father, you know, I don't like the corporate structure. You know, I don't like working with these people. They have no heart. I'm very happy singing. I'm comfortable. You're blessing me and I'm fine. And he said as clearly to me as I'm saying to you, do this for me and you can retire in 10 years. Very distinctly, he has great English. Very distinctly, very, you know. And now I got to do this because I can't disobey him that boldly. I mean, I sneak around and do a few things, but just boldly said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I started to do it, which I find out later, my purpose, not only to do the show, but is to be there because it's going to be rocky.
Reppin' the WNBA, baby. Ayy. Put your W's up, put your W's up, put your W's up. PG is free, back with the Mercury.
How would you like to be remembered?
Remembered. That's sufficient. To be remembered. Sufficient.
What do you think has been your proudest achievement in your career?
In my career, I don't know. All of it was good to me. I don't know if there's one thing. I was not an overnight sensation. I didn't have a million seller immediately. I didn't, mine was a everyday working. I'm a working actress, a working singer. So I don't know about any particular thing that.
Any regrets?
Oh, of course. But I appreciate the regrets because I learned. You see, from each thing that you learn, failure can be a wonderful thing because you learn never to do it that way again. You see, so by failing, if you're paying attention and you'll be honest with yourself, failing can elevate you to a better understanding. So yes, there are a lot of things I could have done a different way. But in the end, I like me. And all of those things that I went through, whether I handled them well or not, made me the human being I am right now. And I like me right now. So it's all right.
Blue skies smiling at me all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright. Never had things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're involved, I hurry by. Blue days, all of them are gone. Nothing but the blue skies from dawn on. I never saw the sun shining so bright. Never had things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my goodness, they do fly.
I don't remember the year, but I was working at this place I was telling you about, the Flame Show Bar. And the manager of the Flame Show Bar really liked what I was doing. And so he had a friend in New York. His name was Lee Maggot. And he kept saying to Lee Maggot that he ought to come to Detroit and see me. And eventually Lee Maggot came to see me. And he said to me,
and what was it like to have your first hit within the Still of the Night?
Well, there was a lot of things before the hit. You see, he was young, Lee Maggot. He was young and he was trying to make it. And I was young and I was trying to make it. And we were in New York with no money whatsoever. He did have a marvelous singer who used to sing with Duke Ellington named Al Hibbler. The 62nd Psalm says in the 5th verse, my soul, wait thou only upon God For my expectation is from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. Attitude. My soul, listen in there. My soul, wait thou only upon God. Give up all that other stuff. For my expectation is from God. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. The 121st Psalm says, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth, and he will not suffer my foot to be moved. He that keeps me shall not slumber. I believe that. I believe that. The 7th verse says, the Lord shall preserve me from all evil. He shall preserve my soul. The Lord shall preserve my going out, my coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. I believe that. The question this morning is, what do you expect? How wise are you in your expectations? And who do you expect it from? See, our problem is we expect things from people who do not have what we're expecting them from them. And then when they can't produce, then we want to talk bad about them. You see, it's like asking me to build a house. You'd be stupid to ask me to build a house. I can't even hold a hammer. I don't want to hold the hammer. So I would be trying to find somebody to turn you over to, because I don't want to build a house. Enough people building houses. I don't want to take no work from nobody. You see, so find who you can depend on before you expect from them. The Random House Dictionary says that to expect is to look forward to. To expect is to look forward to, not at it, to look forward to it, to regard it likely to happen. I'm looking forward to what I need, and I'm believing that it's going to happen. It's to anticipate the occurrence of or the coming of. So I'm looking forward to what I believe is going to happen, and I'm waiting because it's coming. I look with reason and justification. This is not a fairy tale I'm making up. I anticipate, which is to realize beforehand before I see it. I anticipate that whatever it is I need that is for my highest good, God is going to supply it. I anticipate that. I look forward to that. I consider or mention it before the proper time. I'll say, God, send me money, and have 12 cents that I can see. And she called me, and I said, well, the money's on the way. She said, well, you know, I just saw on a television show, Touched by an Angel. They're repeating Touched by an Angel. So that I said, good luck, good blessing to Reverend, because Reverend's going to be able to have some money because they got those residuals coming. And I said, I know the money is coming. I know that he would not leave me without any money. He knows that I need money, so I know the money is on the way. And she says, well, I believe it too. And I hung up the telephone. Now I get mail in piles like this. I hung up the telephone and I looked at I got to answer all these letters. I know you've never done anything that stupid before in your life, you see. But I expected it. I expect God to take care of me. I expect him to do that because he said he would do that. And I don't know him to be a liar. You see, to anticipate is to think and to speak and to act and feel emotional response about what's going to happen. You're talking about being emotional. When I got that envelope and opened it up and it was from Sony, I danced. I almost squeezed Franklin to pieces. I just held the best that they can. Or do you tell them you're never going to make it? You don't think right. You don't walk right. You don't talk right. Do you expect the people you work for to appreciate your work? Or are you saying all the time, everything I do is wrong and I got to find me another job because working here is not doing me any good? Try to love them through all of those things that are not necessarily the way you feel. It's not required that I feel the way you feel. The things that's required is that you and I adjust because we're living here in the same building, in the same apartment. And so that there will be peace in here for everybody living in here, we will have to make a few adjustments here and there. Oh, you're looking at me strange and I don't care. Do you have a saying like, oh, all men are that way? They all cheat. That's the way they are. Or do you say, that's, huh? Huh? Oh, it's inbred in them, huh? They just can't help it. They all of them, every one of them cheat. Well, they may all cheat except one. There's one I know does not cheat. Heaven is now. Heaven is right now. Heaven or hell is right now. Either one, whichever one you choose. And you choose it. You see, you want to blame everything about the way they're voting and the way they're thinking and the way the elections go and that all that ain't got nothing to do with it. If you trust the God inside of you and obey the God inside of you, they can have 415,000 elections and none of them ever have to touch you. Happen in your world, your life, and your affairs right now, you're going to have to change your mind. Because heaven is a place of great happiness. And if you walk around bugged all the time and mad all the time, you can't take that into heaven. You would spoil heaven, some of you, if you were to get inside. See, and heaven's not going to let you do that, you see. It's heaven to be, many things make heaven. It's heaven to be working creatively and constructively. It's heaven to be consciously aware of the power of God within you and your ability to use it. Just think about that. My ability to use God. That's the greatest force that there is. I have the ability. You're not properly impressed. Well, maybe you don't have it. If you don't have it, you won't understand it. You see, and I hope to help you get it. But this is my gift that God gave me. She sent Jesus to bring it to me. That there are things that I can do until my body started to acting like it was 82. And I found myself rubbing on the part that was acting 82 and saying, now we ain't gonna do this. We're not gonna have this. I got to use this in the name of Christ Jesus. I said, you have to come out and be strong here. You have to stand up and hold me. I got things to do. And you must do what God said you would do if I asked you to. We underestimate. We're not wise enough to give a correct estimate of ourselves. And it's about your subconscious mind. You see, you got stuff stored up in there. Not all of it is your fault. Some of it is, but not all of it is. Some of it, before you really knew who you were and how you were, was placed in there. And you don't, at the time it was placed in there, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know for an example, this is the clearest I can make it. You're crawling on the floor in the kitchen and your mama's cooking. And your aunt is over there and two other ladies is over there. And they're talking. Now, one of the ladies, your aunt, always brings you a piece of candy. And you waiting on her to get that because you know the candy's coming. And the candy is important. All the rest of the stuff they talk about is not important to you. And they get to talking. And the ladies, one of the ladies says to your aunt who's got the candy, girl, I don't understand how you put up with that man. And your aunt said, well, I don't know what to do about it. She said, what you ought to do is, and then she gives you a list of things that you ought to do to this human being that you have said you love and want to spend with the rest of your life. You get you a pistol and shoot him and put him out the house, to cut off the food, don't cook no more, don't do this no more, don't do that no more, and he'll come around. He will come around on the way to the lady who's going to love him. That's what he's coming around to. And you let this lady here talk you out of what you already owned. Is that stupid or what? Huh? Okay, now you're 35 years old. And you meet this gentleman who really likes you a lot. And he tells you that he likes you a lot. He keeps doing little things to show you that he likes you a lot. And then one night you're thinking about it and you say, yeah, it seems that way, but all men cheat. And I've been hurt before. And I don't want to be hurt anymore. And I just can't trust him. And I just began to fix up my daughter thought I was crazy because I bought a twin beds. And you could sit on my bed, but you couldn't touch this other bed because he hadn't got here yet. And I didn't want nobody sitting on his bed till he got here. Because I anticipated, hello, lesson. I expected, hello, lesson, that I was going to have it because I asked God for it. And he said, if I asked him believing, he would do it. I started giving away stuff and throwing away stuff. And I didn't want anything that had ever been any way used in any way that wasn't. You see, you have limitations. You make limitations for yourself. You say, I can't do this, and this can't be this way, and this can't. Any way you want to do it, Father, I'm expecting you. I look to the hills for which cometh my help. You see, I've been doing it, and I've been doing it wrong, and it's been miserable, and I don't want to do it wrong anymore. I don't want any more misery in my life as long as I am on this planet. So you decide how you want it to be, Father, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Just tell me what you want me to do, because I expect to be happy today and always if I'll do what you say that I should do. You see, I know he's going to do it because I keep going inside. I don't have to call you on the phone and go, And I don't have to call you and go, pull me. I just sit down in a chair, go inside to the Christ inside of me, and talk to the Christ inside of me. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this the way you want me to do this?
All right, y'all, go check out Up Church. They dropped this 10 years ago. But yeah, y'all, let me know in the comments how y'all felt about this video. Did you learn anything new about Della Reese? Tell me anything y'all know about Della Reese, what you love about Della. I hope y'all are doing well. Take this wisdom Della Reese gave us, grasp it, bring it into your soul, your life, your mind. Breathe in, breathe out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, you don't get your head out. All right. Yes, my shit right here. So I just my shit right here.